Hey all, and welcome back to Pokemon Yellow. We've just beat Lieutenant Surge, and now this part is a bit of a fill-in, doing some other stuff, because I want to show off Diglett's Tunnel, I think it's called. Diglett's Tunnel, Diglett's Cave, I can never remember which one. But yes, Stephen, what do you think of Diglett?
It's okay, but I couldn't really care that much for it. Yes, it's Gen 1 and I love it for nostalgia's sake, but it's a bit of a crap design.
It is, Chris.
But it's memorable, isn't it? And it's got the whole thing about what is underneath it.
Yeah, but Gen 5 did Diglett better, and it's called Drillbur and Excadrill.
Yeah, see, they're actually really fucking cool designs, especially Excadrill. Although Drillbur is kind of cute, admittedly. Yeah. I like he's got that sort of personality in his face, and he's like a little adorable digger Pokemon. But yeah, when is Diglett gonna use Fly? That's one of my favourite things, a Pokemon Stadium hack. Someone gave their Diglett Fly, and you just see it's like a flat bottom to it. But yeah, I caught a Diglett, but I think I may encounter some more. I can't remember, because I think the encounter rate in Diglett's Tunnel is quite low. I don't know, sometimes I've been through the entire tunnel without getting an encounter. That might just be, you know, a fluke.
Wait, Dugtrio?
No, Diglett, Dugtrio. Just the encounter rate in general.
I don't know, I've encountered Diglett quite a bit. It's Dugtrio that's the difficult one.
Yeah, I mean, like, Dugtrios do show up here, and they're much rarer than Diglett, but, like, Dugtrio is a fucking stupid design as well, isn't it? Let's be fair.
That's not an evolution. I don't even know
it's
why.
It's free of the fucking thing.
That's essentially cheating. You go into a battle with a set of 6 Dugtrio. You've got 18 Pokemon.
Yeah, but admittedly, they're 18 Pokemon that aren't exactly that great in battle.
How can Diglett and Dugtrio learn Aerial Ace?
That's a good point.
I'm pretty sure it can learn Aerial Ace. I hope I'm not making this up.
I think it can actually. I think I've heard someone talking about that before, and that's amazing.
What does it do in the anime? Does it make the wind glow?
You don't see
what?
Aerial Ace. It's just like they fly at the opponent and they don't miss.
Oh, wow.
That's about it.
Gonna do that.
They've just sort of got like the you just see that wind effect going by their wings.
Yeah, Diglett and Dugtrio's wings. Yes.
Yes. How does it even know Scratch?
I suppose it uses scratches with its teeth. I don't know.
I mean, Scratch can make sense for a lowland Dugtrio.
Well, does it scratch with its hair?
I'd assume so, yeah, considering it's made of metal.
Good point, yeah. I know we bickered about this in an earlier part, but I love Glamrock Dugtrio. Glamrock Dugtrio is amazing.
It reminds me of Queen, like the Bohemian Rhapsody, the shot from that music video.
It sort of does actually, like you need another one, like a Doug Quad.
Inspiration.
Oh dear God.
I always kind of think, you know, the glam rock, you know, sort of Poison, that sort of band with the long blonde hair. That's what it kind of reminds me of. But yeah, I think it was about this point in the game where I got super obsessive about not walking into things, and I was redoing certain steps over and over to not get that irritating little bump sound effect that you get sometimes. And that's the thing, like, when I was recording this, like, the first few parts, you know, so I was careless all over the place. Then I think I just nudged into something by mistake, and I was just super aware of it. And it's like, from this point on in the game, we're not going to hear that sound effect again. And you know how fucking fiddly that is to control, by the way? Because, like, there's a difference between just tapping a direction and pushing the direction. Because you can just turn round on the spot, and it just moves you, like, your physical presence. Whereas, like, if you push it down that bit longer, then it takes a step.
Yeah. It was only a few months back that I discovered that you could cut the long grass.
Could do that.
Oh yeah, I thought I'd show that off because I know a lot of people don't realise you can do that. That was pretty cool.
That's like your own little lawnmower.
I felt like my life was a lie up until that point.
Anyway, you can probably figure why I'm going back to Pewter here.
Yes.
I want my old Amber. Because, like, Aerodactyl is a cool Pokemon. I don't think I'm ever going to use it in this playthrough, but, like, I love Aerodactyl's design.
Shame its Mega looks a bit crap.
What does it Mega look like? I can't remember.
They slapped rocks on it.
It's coming to me. I can't remember it really.
It's literally Aerodactyl covered with
Didn't they give
spiky rocks.
Rocky beard thing.
Yeah, he's got a massive spike coming out
Oh,
of its
yeah.
chin.
I
Massive
think I do
spike
remember.
coming out of the back of its head for its horns. And all running down its spine.
Okay, Stephen, favourite Mega Pokemon?
Oh, that's... I'm going to need a moment to think about that because that's actually quite difficult. Charizard's too
Charizard
obvious.
Constantly.
I mean, I like Charizard X's design, but it's not my favourite.
Oh, I would say it probably is for me. I love Charizard X. That's the black one, right? Charizard X.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is really cool. And
The Y one still looks good though.
the Y one's, it's one of the things that it's okay, but the X one looks so much cooler.
I prefer Y, personally.
Really?
It feels like a progression of Charizard design. It got sleeker, it's got the extra horn on its head, and it's got extra wing appendages on its wrists. It just feels like an absolute definitive evolution.
Well, see, the thing I get with Charizard Y is Charizard Y kind of feels to me what Charizard would be if it was a Gen 4 Pokemon. In that there's this kind of thing of just... It feels a bit like they've overplayed the design. It's like, original Charizard, he's got that sort of charm to him, like he's a bit chubby, you know, he's like a fairly basic dragon. Whereas, like, they feel like they've just overdone Charizard a bit. Whereas, like, you could say the same about X, but X kind of rolls with that. X kind of just embraces it. X realises that it is DeviantArt Charizard. And that to me, because it's so overplayed, I can roll with that. Whereas Y feels like it's trying to take that seriously.
I think it succeeds in taking it seriously.
Yeah, I just think you're wrong.
I mean, for a while, at first when I saw X, I didn't really like it that much, honestly. It's like, I like the black coloration and the blue flames, but then you've just got these weird little awkward horns on its shoulders. I'm like, why are they there? You could remove them and it would look fine the way it is. What, you're just adding that in just so that it looks a bit different from regular Charizard. If you take them away, it really is just recoloured Charizard with blue flames coming out of its mouth and black coloration.
I think it's odd that they did go for the black colour scheme, because, like, yeah, it looks really cool, and if I was going to design, like, a sort of pumped-up Charizard, I would probably go with that myself. But the thing is that black is normal Charizard's shiny colour.
Yeah.
And I believe that shiny Mega Charizard X is blue, isn't it?
Yeah, blue with red tips on his horn and the spikes on his shoulder.
See, that's not quite as impactful as the regular coloured one.
Which, again, it kind of takes away from the overall coolness of X. While, yes, X looks amazing, just imagine how much more special it would have felt if the shiny version was the black coloration instead.
Yeah, see, that's the thing I get with shiny Pokemon. There's some that are really cool variants. Charizard is the obvious one. But then there's other ones that are just like a slightly different hue.
Garchomp, for instance, that is a terrible shiny. I can't even tell the difference.
Yeah,
it's
like-
like that slight of a difference.
It's like one little hue away from it, isn't
Yeah.
it, really?
It's like things like Geodude and Graveler, don't they turn gold, I think?
Yeah, they look like sort of golden nuggets or
Yeah.
I don't know what the Alolan ones are like. I don't think I've ever seen a shiny Alolan one.
I haven't either. At least I don't think I have.
So many variations.
There are, like, it's kind of at this point where if you take into consideration not only all the different Pokemon there are and their different forms, and you've got things like the Mega forms, the Alolan forms, it's like Pokemon is now some sort of competitive science of all the different combinations that you can get.
Absolutely. It's like recently carrying on with Yellow on my 3DS. It's like I was just sort of taken back by the nostalgia of it all. It's like I love the simplicity of it, and plus the fact, like, even though there's only 150 at this point, it still feels like a lot. There's still a lot there to choose from. And then the next day when I carried on with it, suddenly all the negatives came into my mind. I was like, I miss all of the new moves. Plus, they fixed some of the errors with the typings, because, like, Charizard, despite being flying fire, so I should be neutral, I was up against Articuno. It was super effective when it used Ice Beam.
Yeah, was that, like, glitching out, or was that just a case of they hadn't put in the whole...
They hadn't adjusted the typings properly.
Because weren't there some things like think when it Ghost super effective things were just glitched or something, like the Ghost against Ghost or something was
I don't
glitched.
recall that, because Ghost is super effective against Ghost, but the only problem is that there are only like 2 Ghost moves in the game.
Hmm.
And then again, is Dreamy a Ghost or Psychic? I can't remember.
I don't know. I think
think
it's Ghost, but I can't tell off the top of my head.
But yeah, I think it might be Psychic, so it's between Lick and Nightshade, and Nightshade has a fixed amount of damage.
So you say that about Ghost, but Dragon types in Gen 1,
Yes.
literally the only Dragon type move, Dragon Rage.
And it's set at 40.
Yeah, Dragon Rage is a fixed attack, so like Dragon being weak to Dragon, that is literally meaningless in Gen 1.
So you have 2 broken types in the game, Dragon and Psychic.
Yeah, well, like Psychic was OP as fuck. Like if you've got a Psychic type, you've won the game.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just spam Psychic, spam Confusion, Psybeam, what the fuck ever. You've won basically the entire game.
When I got a Gengar taught it Psychic, that was it.
Yeah. So what's your team right now in yellow?
It's Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur,
Of course.
Pikachu, Pidgeotto at the moment because I've unfortunately neglected it, and Snorlax.
Snorlax is pretty cool. Like I don't know how useful it is in Gen 1. I think because it can learn Earthquake, can't it? That can make it pretty useful. But obviously I've got the Nidoqueen here, so I don't need that. And Nidoqueen is awesome.
So again, some of the other things I missed from the new games was the TM usage.
Oh yes.
Dear God, having only one use for a TM is just awful.
I think if there's one thing that I can give Sun and Moon's like new approach to the game's credit for is that I like that HMs aren't mandatory now.
Absolutely.
Like they sort of numbed them down in Gen 6. Like there weren't really many points where you needed to surf or whatever. So that was a positive step. But the fact that like you really don't need them. There's this new mechanic that replaces that entirely with the right Pokemon.
Yeah, just teleport Pokemon there for you.
Yeah, I'm curious how they continue with that in a new game though, because that feels like a very Alola-centric kind of mechanic.
Yeah, and they did say in Sun and Moon that they're the only region at the time to have Pokemon to call upon, and they even referenced the fact that all the other regions just use HMs at the moment, and they're trying to bring it across to the other regions.
I always wondered how that worked.
Yeah. I mean, the next game that will likely be in the pipeline will be a Gen 4 remake.
I want a Gen 4 remake.
I want it.
Seriously, I'd say this is someone who really doesn't like Diamond Pearl that much, but like I think the thing with Diamond and Pearl is that they're not inherently bad games. They are still Pokemon games, they're still functional, they're still kind of got a bit of that Pokemon charm to them, but they feel a little bit rushed.
They're slow.
They're very slow as well.
That's the only problem for me with Gen 4. I love Gen 4, but when I went back to play it, dear God, it is slow. Because like Gen 4 was the first Pokemon game I picked up after Gen 1. So I didn't realise how slow it would be in comparison.
Yeah, I think that like there's the fact that the story goes a bit slow as well, and there's also that it just feels a bit clunky in parts, and it feels, I would say, sort of unfinished, like in a way. Especially when you get to the tail end of the game, there's like that Sunny Shore City which like it looks like a bit of a clusterfuck of a map, and there's that whole Munchlax like statue thing that they allude to but don't actually do anything with. I don't know, I feel that, like, admittedly I will say, to be fair, I have not played Platinum. Platinum probably does fix up a lot of this stuff.
So I've heard.
Yeah, I haven't played it myself, but like, you know, it's a revised version of the game. Maybe it does fix a lot of the problems. I believe they fixed up a lot of the Pokemon like in the regional Pokédex, because that was a problem that the original one had. I think there were like 2 fire type lines.
Yeah.
Infernape and Rapidash.
That's it. Yeah, I didn't realise that until at the end of the game, because I had picked Infernape, so I was set for a fire type, plus Infernape is the obvious choice for me out of the starters.
I went with Empoleon.
Fair enough. I like all the starters. I know you don't really like Torterra.
Torterra, it's not a bad Pokemon, but it just looks sort of goofy compared to the other two, which are really, like, flat out cool.
I really like Torterra, but if it got a Mega, I think it can be improved easily.
No.
It's kind of like the Bulbasaur that game.
In a way, yeah, it's like the one that it stands alright as itself in the Pokemon, but, you know, you're gonna pick one of the others.
Yeah.
But at least it is part ground type. Granted,
That is good.
it gains the quadruple ice type weakness, which is unfortunate, but at least it gets ground type stab.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic.
Yeah, which is especially useful in game, you know, like, you've got the... It's like a resistance to fire for you, and which when you pick the grass starter, if you pick the grass starter, you probably grass is the most vulnerable inherently of the starter types, isn't it? And so when you get that ground type, you can at least wipe out the fire types. That's one of them down out of the way, isn't it?
Ground isn't resistant to fire, I'm pretty sure it isn't. But at least you've got that earthquake on your side.
Yeah, you've got ground type attacks that can do damage. I forget actually, can Torterra learn dig?
Probably. I wouldn't have thought. I would have thought it'd be able to.
Because I've just now got the mental image of a fucking huge continent Pokemon digging into the ground.
Just the tree suddenly sinking into the ground.
No, I like to imagine that it starts digging the hole and then its tree gets stuck as it's trying to get down like a foxhole or something.
Someone starts burying it, so it's like all you see is the tree.
Yeah,
oh crap!
Where's Torterra hiding? I don't know.
He's blending in with the scenery.
It explains most of the trees.
I mean, you'll probably notice the little mountains that are poking out of the ground because he does have that little miniature set of mountains on his back.
I love that. I like to imagine that there's a whole like miniature ecosystem living on Torterra's back.
Tiny
That is-
Pokemon
that-
living in there.
that
like,
is
bug types.
that is suggested in the Pokédex, saying like bird Pokemon will make nests on its tree.
That's great.
So it is a walking continent. It is called a continent Pokemon.
Yeah.
So essentially, it is like Groudon. Groudon is the continent Pokemon.
Imagine Groudon living in a pool of lava on Torterra's back, though.
I just see Torterra in excruciating pain.
Oh yeah, well it is still technically sort of grass type.
Yeah.
Oh, bless it. Where are we even going with this?
See, a bad design though, like
Go on.
Salamance's Mega Evolution.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I love Salamence. The Mega Evolution fucking ruins it. Like, what is it? It's like a miniature jet thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but
The
they could
Meg-
have done so much better with that.
When I saw the Mega Evolution, that was the first Mega I'd seen that pissed me off. Because the Pokemon itself, as a Mega, it's got great stats, great moves, and a great ability, but that design ruins it.
Yeah,
It's like, yes, you can use it, and it will win you a lot of battles, but you have to look at it.
Salamence is quite OP anyway, isn't he?
Salamence is pretty strong. It's nowhere near as good as Dragonite as far as I'm aware. Dragonite is very useful because it can learn Dragon Dance. It's got a lot of great moves, plus its ability multi-scale, I think it is. It reduces the damage of whatever is the first move that hits it. So say they go for like something like Ice Beam, Blizzard or something, it will reduce the damage of it, so it can stay in a lot longer.
Is Scarchomp still as OP as it was?
No, he's not as OP, because if it learnt Dragon Dance, then it would. Unfortunately, it can't learn it. It can only learn Sword Dance, plus Mega Garchomp. Honestly, I think people see that as less usable than regular Garchomp, and more of a waste of a Mega slot because it's slower. And while yes, it gets a huge attack boost, you could give it something like a choice item to increase its attack even further.
See, the thing is, I remember there was a period of time where Garchomp was considered quite OP in the metagame, and like when Mega Garchomp was first announced, people were freaking the fuck out. Like, why would you overpower this Pokemon or something? And Rayquaza as well, wasn't it?
Rayquaza has had a whole tier created for it because it is that broken. It is It is the strongest Pokemon in the game. Its ability removes flying type weakness, so it's only got dragon weaknesses. It's got Dragon Dance. Its attack and special attack are way beyond what Mewtwo has. Well, it's not stronger than the X or Y forms, but its special attack is above Mewtwo's now, and its attack is on par with that.
Bloody hell.
Its speed is increased, only slightly, but just enough to make it even worse. It can learn extreme speed, so it can still get a hit in. And there's an event version of Rayquaza, which has Victini's move, V-Create. So you've got a 130-odd power fire-type move.
I like to imagine now that there's people who have tournaments like Rayquaza tier tournaments where it's just like teams of Rayquaza against each other, because that's the kind of thing that someone has had to have tried it.
And the best thing is that it can run all sorts of sets. It's like, even though it can Mega Evolve, it only needs to know a move to Mega Evolve, so it's got a space open for an item to hold.
Really?
Yes. So you've got Mega Rayquaza that's got one of the strongest flying moves, Dragon Ascent, which is basically flying type close combat. And it is exactly the same as close combat in that it lowers your defense and special defense after using it. But because you've got Rayquaza there, if you use something like Dragon Dance a couple of times, that's not going to bother you, because you're going to get in there and kill everything before they get a chance to inflict damage on you.
Is there anything that comes close to Rayquaza then?
No, because it could hold leftovers to heal itself gradually over the battle. It could hold a life orb to increase its damage by 30%. Granted, it loses some health to the use of that item, but even so, you're going to kill everything before Rayquaza dies. Or have it hold a choice item to double its attack. No, increase its attack by half right away.
Are there any, at least reasonably OP fairy types now? Since
Mega Gardevoir is pretty strong.
What sort of attacks does that use? Because I really don't know much about Fairy. Fairy's the type that I've kind of it hasn't sunk in with me at all.
So there's Disarming Voice, which is a decent damage move. Moon Blast, which is probably the most powerful special Fairy move. There's not a lot of Fairy moves that I can really recall, honestly, but Mega Gardevoir does have the ability Pixelate, which turns any normal moves into Fairy type moves and increases the damage by
Hyper Beam that shit.
Yes, so it increases the damage ever so slightly more as well. And a move that people like to use for it is Hyper Voice, so it's 90 damage, but then when Pixelate, its damage increases and it's a Fairy type move.
Not bad.
And you don't have to recharge like Hyper Beam.
That's a good point, yeah, because Hyper Beam seems to be the go-to. It sounds powerful, but it's got a penalty thing. I guess there is also the elemental variations that you can learn in like Fire Red, Leaf Green and that, but still.
Yeah, we're in Lavender Town.
Yes, we are. We're not going to be here for long. We'll be coming back here to do all the Pokemon Tower stuff properly later. But yeah, this is the epic creepypasta sort of meme.
Has the coolest music.
Oh god, the music is classic.
Yeah, I know that's the thing that, oh no, it's so scary, so haunting. I unironically like the Lavender Town theme.
I think it's relaxing in a way.
It is in a way. It's sort of like, just chill back, just listen to the, I think what it is that the sound font makes the notes incredibly harsh, but that works for it.
Absolutely.
They completely fucking ruined it in Fire and Leaf Green because they tried to overcomplicate it with the GBA's, odd layering, but just the raw Game Boy version of it, it just works so fucking well.
It's cold monotone, and that works because you're in a graveyard.
You're in the future site of the Lavender Town radio tower.
Yeah. Because that makes sense.
I'll never get over that. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time for more Pokemon Yellow.